President Tinubu sends delegation to Jigawa in response to Tuesday night's Majia Town inferno. Senate debunks invasion of Nigerians to disregard stories of planned impeachment of principal officers. Federal governments meet organized labor over key issues of national interest. President Bola Tinubu has directed the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, to lead a federal government delegation to Jigawa State in response to Tuesday night's inferno in Majia Town, which claimed over 100 lives. The government's delegation will comprise the Minister of Defense, Mohammed Badaru Abubakar, Minister of Transportation, Saidu Al-Khali, Co-Marshal, Federal Road Safety Commission, Shehu Mohammed, and the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Community Engagements Northwest, Abdullahi Tanko Yakasai. While in Jigawa, the delegation is expected to visit the scene of the incident to assess the situation and visit injured persons in hospital. President Tinubu further directs that emergency aid, including medical supplies, food and shelter, be extended to the 50 victims receiving treatment and others affected by the fire. He prays for divine comfort for the bereaved families and the peaceful repose of the souls of the departed. The President reassures the nation that the federal government, in collaboration with states, is committed to the swift and comprehensive review of fuel transportation safety protocols across the country. In a statement by the Presidential Advisor on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, the President restates his directive to the Federal Road Safety Corps to strengthen night travel measures, such as increased patrols, strict enforcement of safety regulations, and other highway safety mechanisms. And Majia Town is full to capacity as people troop in from neighboring towns to participate in the burial of the departed souls following the patrol tanker fire explosion last night in the town. Mohammed Musa Askira reports.
Majia Town is full with people coming in from different parts of neighboring villages and towns to condole with the residents over the fire disaster that affected over 200 people. Eyewitnesses say the fire was not from the petrol tanker but from the activities of those rushed in to fetch the spilling fuel on the ground. Governor Umar Namadi, who describes the incidents as a test from God and residents must take it in good faith, notes that the state will continue to sensitize people on the danger of such incidents whenever it occurs.
Apart from the secondary facilities we have in the state, we have also make arrangement with the tertiary facilities, Amini Kano Teaching Hospital, Federal Medical Center Brununkudu, and Federal Medical Center Unguru. For those that are in Hadija General Hospital, they have a referral center at Federal Medical Center Unguru. And for those that are in Jahun, they have a referral place at Federal Medical Center Brununkudu, and for those in Ringium General Hospital, they will be referred to American teaching hospitals. Arrangement has been made by government to take care of full medical bills of these people.
Those hospitalized will continue to receive free treatments in various hospitals they were taken to across the state. In Dutse, Muhammad Musa Askira, Nta News.
In the meantime, the Senate has called on authorities to assist victims of Tuesday night's tanker explosion in Jigawa State. And the issue was raised as a matter of urgent public importance by Senator Babangida Hussaini, who drew the sympathy of the legislators as they expressed sadness over the deaths of more than 100 persons. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports.
The tragic incident in Jigawa was the first matter for consideration at plenary Wednesday.
This catastrophic inferno occurred around 10 p.m. when the residents of the area trooped out en masse to the accident scene to scoop fuel from the ill-fated tanker
This has happened in Lagos, it has happened in Ikeja, it has happened in my community in Akwa Ibom State before, and a lot of the bonds were first-class bonds. So here, over 100 people have been burned to death. I want to also pray that those in hospitals will also survive.
Senate mourned the victims and those bereaved and suggested intensified awareness by authorities to prevent such occurrence in the future. Senate passed for second reading 3 bills seeking the establishment of educational institutions.
Federal University of Medicine and Medical Science, Kogi State.
Federal College of Education, special in Karaye local government, Kano State.
Federal University of Education, special, Oyo State.
21 appointees of President Tinubu as commissioners of the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission were also confirmed during plenary. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, Nta News.
In the meantime, President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, has advised Nigerians to disregard stories of a planned impeachment of principal officers of the National Assembly, describing it as fake news and a figment of the author's imagination. A statement from the special advisor to the President of the Senate on media and publicity, Eseme Eibo, indicates that online publisher authored the mischievous story. The statement adds that the speculation and misinformation circulating about an alleged impeachment plot is the handiwork of fifth columnists who are perpetual merchants of misinformation and purveyors of mischief. It reaffirms the commitment of Akpabio to transformative leadership and effective collaboration with other arms of government. The President of the Senate, it added, remains focused on the implementation of the 10th Senate's legislative agenda and working tirelessly to address the pressing national issues of growth and prosperity. Meanwhile, the special advisor to the President on National Assembly Matters Senate, Bashir Lado, has described as baseless the online publication. In a statement, he says there is no discord amongst the legislators as they are working in harmony for the peace and progress of Nigeria. The Minister of Defense, Mohammed Badru Abubakar, has extended his heartfelt condolences to the government and people of Jigawa State following the tragic fuel tanker explosion in Majia Town, Tora local government area of the state. The devastating incident, which occurred Tuesday night, claimed the lives of more than 100 people and left more than 50 others injured. The minister expresses sadness and sympathizes with the families of the victims. Similarly, Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu condoles with the government and people of Jigawa State and over the unfortunate tanker explosion which left many dead and injured. A statement by the First Lady says she's asking God to comfort those affected by the incident. As she says, her thoughts and prayers are with all victims at this time, praying God to grant the friends, families and loved ones of the departed souls the fortitude to bear the painful loss and speedy recovery to the injured. So the news now, and women and youths in the Niger Delta region will soon have more cause to cheer following a strategic partnership that is being worked out between the Renewed Hope Initiative and the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, to expand the scope of empowerment in the area. Managing Director of the Commission, Samuel Obuku, disclosed this after meeting with Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu in her office.
We in NDDC, we have seen the laudable projects of the Renewed Hope Initiative, and we thought there was a need for us to also identify with all the programs and engagements of the Renewed Hope Initiative. So we met with Her Excellency and decided to forge a partnership with the Renewed Hope Initiative. And this partnership is going to be in various areas, ranging from medical to education. So In our next set of our medical outreach is going to be a partnership between the Renewed Hope Initiative and NDDC. And also in the distribution of our educational tabs, the Renewed Hope Initiative and NDDC is also going to partner to ensure that at least the U-Lesson educational tabs which we are distributing will be a partnership between the Renewed Hope Initiative and NDDC. Even in our youth internship scheme too, we're also bringing Renewed Hope Initiative on board too, which is in the area of job creation. Also in the areas of other, empowerment for women and other areas too. So our team and the team of the Renewed Hope Initiative are going to be meeting very soon to also, expand most of these areas of collaboration. I think it is good news for women and youth in the Niger Delta because, the Renewed Hope Initiative has that human face, which we also want to partner with to expand the scope of what we are doing in the Niger Delta for the women and the youths.
Managing Director of the NDDC, Samuel Ogbuku, speaking after a meeting with the First Lady. This is the news at 11 on Nta News24. More reports after this break.
As your president, I assure you that we are committed to finding sustainable solutions to alleviate the suffering of our citizens. Once again, I plead for your patience as the reforms we are implementing show positive signs, and we are beginning to see the light at the end of the tunnel. And we are beginning.
Welcome back. Now, the Abuja Investment Company Limited is recalibrating the business climate for optimal wins as it assures genuine and would-be investors that they are in for a good deal soon. Abdullahi Ajia reports that this is the first Abuja Business and Investment Summit with keynote speaker and governor of Anambra State, Professor Charles Soludo, steering the discourse for a patriotic investment drive.
The first high-level business and investment summit organized by the FCT administration under the auspices of the Abuja Investment Company Limited. The attendance was encouraging, stimulating a floodgate of scholarly views and expertise position from the keynote speaker to other guests who passionately talk about walking the talk.
To reawaken the spirit of Abuja investment.
For sustainability of our investment, it's in our enlightened self-interest to make sure that we empower everybody and lift the boat for everybody. That's where we can secure investment of the future.
Most people have the notion that when you come into Abuja, all you do is just government business, politics, and does not have that business connotation, which is absolutely not right. As the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja is actually the gateway to investment in Nigeria. When we create and stimulate the economy and people invest, definitely there will be reduction of unemployment, and that will lead to reduction in crime, so that is basically what we're trying to do, to add value to what government is doing.
Ease of doing business, promoting made in Nigeria products, as well as creating a pathway for sustainable investment were some of the ideas put forward to change the narratives.
The base is changing. And like you said, until we are deliberate about making the base a place of invested national patriotic economy.
And everything about us, we should, as a matter of fact, promote it and make use of it, because that is the basis for every investment.
This goes a long way to show that FCT is ready, FCT is open, and FCT is also assuring all investors, both local and foreign investors, that all the enabling environment that they need is going to be made available.
First of all, have to have Nigerians who are ready to invest. The moment we get that, every other thing will follow.
With a vista of opportunities abound for all interest, the panel discussion on infrastructure development in Abuja provided more thoughtful insights to the business viability Abuja holds. Thereafter, guests and stakeholders catch a glimpse of a variety of products and services at the exhibition stands as more prospects are respected from the three-day investment networking in Abuja. Abdullah Hajia, Nta News.
A federal government delegation led by the Minister of Information and National Orientation has met with the organised labour over key issues of national interest. The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, explains that the closed-door discussions held at the office of the SGF are proactive initiatives to continue interactions with major stakeholders to ensure no issue of national importance is left unattended to.
This is our continuous engagement with Labour for the good of the country. You know that Labour is an important component of this country. All of them are our brothers and sisters. Government is there for everyone, including Labour.
NLC President Joe Ajero, in company of other Labour Union representatives, declined comments awaiting conclusion of issues at hand. Meanwhile, the Minister of Budget and National Planning, Abubakar Atiku Abadgudu, who was part of the meeting, explains
our gross
ongoing
domestic product for the first quarter increased by over 2%. In the close to 3%. In the second quarter, it went by 3.19%. Some people will say it sounds too slow, but let me give you how big that number is. Germany, which is wealthier than us, which have more resources to respond to any challenge, has declined by 0.3%. UK is struggling at minus 0.2%. Why is all this happening? Why are we not growing fast enough? Because that's what we need. We need to grow fast enough at a higher rate. That is why we are taking all the painful measures, so that we put Nigeria on a sustainable, inclusive, higher rate of growth.
The minister expresses optimism that the nation is on the path to economic recovery. The House of Representatives is urging the executive arm of government to expedite submission of the 2025 appropriation bill for consideration by the National Assembly. At Wednesday's plenary, lawmakers also pointed out that time is running out for the presentation of the medium-term fiscal policy framework as stipulated in the Fiscal Responsibility Act 2007. National Assembly correspondent Mitairi Ikben reports.
Lawmakers during plenary were unanimous that the January to December budgetary cycle is a good policy that should be sustained. They equally expressed readiness to receive the 2025 appropriation bill.
The federal government must, not later than 4 months before the commencement of the next financial year, cause to be prepared and laid before the National Assembly and enter for the next 3 financial years. The time the National Assembly requires to exercise its functions as enshrined in Section 88, subsection 2B, is technically being taken away by the non-compliance of Section 11B of Fiscal Responsibility Act by the executive.
And giving a time frame to go ahead and get these budgets passed within a month, just like what happened last year, Mr. Speaker, is going to affect our oversight functions.
The last budget, like we rightly noted, we were almost rushed. In fact, we were rushed into concluding that budget. And that is what we want to avoid.
This motion is referred to the Committees on National Planning and Economic Development, Appropriation and Finance for further legislative action.
A motion seeking stable prices of petrol and cooking gas was referred to a joint ad hoc committee for investigation.
Does the regulation allow
the price of petroleum product to be different in Lagos, in Abuja, in Jos, in Katsina, in Gombe.
We are calling on government not to remove the cylinder that the poor are already living under oxygen.
The Joint Committee of the House and Senate that's already mandated to take care of this situation should speedily get to work.
Lawmakers called for rehabilitation of highways in parts of the country.
Federal Minister of Works and FEMA to make adequate provision for the erosion control and rehabilitation at Obinomba, Udaroko, Umukwata section of Old Sapele Agbo Road.
Liaise with the Federal Ministry of Works and relevant agencies to ensure the speedy completion of the Abuja-Kaduna-Kano Road.
The House also received the report of its Committee on Police Affairs on a bill for an act to amend the Nigeria Police Act 2020 to review the service years of police personnel. From the National Assembly, Mitaire Ikben, Nta News.
The Nigeria Communications Satellite Limited is leveraging its advanced satellite technology to support sectors such as agriculture, healthcare and education by providing robust connectivity with a view to driving efficiency and innovation. Chief Executive Officer, Nigerian Communications Satellite Limited, NigerComSat, Jane Egerton Idehen, highlighted this at a media briefing to unveil 2024 Nigerian Satellite Week in Abuja. Ulushe Adeagbo reports.
Nigerian Satellite Week, a maiden national event to highlight how the satellite and space industry, especially on communication, remains a driving force behind the nation's sustainable development via diverse industries and initiatives.
We want to work with rural operators to provide connectivity in rural areas.
NigerComSat says it is using the week to unpack the transformative potential in satellite technology for Nigeria, extolling advancements in the nation's satellites with increased channels of over 100 and targeting continued improvements in services to Nigerians.
We have been fortunate under the Renewed Hope agenda to work for the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And since taking office, we've started making some changes into the inherent operational issues we've found in NigerComSat. But we realized that even though we are fixing the infrastructure and the technology, people are not aware. That's one of the big challenges we face, awareness of the nation's asset and what that asset can do. How many people know that we have a satellite called NigerComSat 1R in space? How many Nigerians know the value that satellite is for us as a nation? Very few. So that's for us is one of the biggest challenges we face. A lot of people are not even aware of our product, our services, what a satellite can do, how it can impact our economy. And that becomes a challenge. If you're not aware, you cannot use.
There's a lot of new innovation going on in the satellite industry. People are beginning to weaponize satellite technology. We are assuring Nigerians that one, our satellite technology is going to be one of the best that will protect you, your integrity, your data, and then we can leverage on our satellite technology to empower rural areas.
The 2024 Nigerian Satellite Week is themed Empowering Nigeria's Future Through Space, announcing the Nigeria Satellite Week. In Abuja, Olusheye Adeagbo, Nta News.
Meanwhile, the Nigerian Institute of Electric and Electronic Engineers is engaging stakeholders on the need to put in place proper regulations that will guide the functioning of emerging technologies ecosystems in the country devoid of negative consequences. Okwe Alabi reports that this is coming at the 20th edition of the Institute's International Conference and Exhibition on Power and Telecommunications in Abuja.
Artificial intelligence and robotic science to quantum computing, with emerging technologies at the forefront of transformative change of the internet. This conference brings together stakeholders from both public and private sectors to explore the most important emerging technologies that are set to redefine the future.
A broad subject focusing on the convergence of emerging technologies and sincere government efforts to solve national development challenges across a broad spectrum of engineering areas.
Conversations focused on putting the country first and improving the ICT ecosystems in tandem with the country's laws of practice.
How do we ensure that these technologies benefit everyone rather than deepening inequality? Together, we can harness the power of emerging technology to create a more inclusive, secure, and prosperous Nigeria. Applying an adaptive regulation, it means we apply a little shift from regulate and forget.
They will assume their position as a member of the regulatory ecosystem in engineering in Nigeria.
By this time next year, we should be hearing of new policies of government. We should be hearing of new laws passed at the National Assembly that will help Nigerians, especially engineers.
It's now an act of the Federal Republic, Chartered Institute of Electrical Electronic Engineering in Nigeria. With that, we're going to ensure we pursue the goals of this conference to ensure there is an impact on the larger society.
The major ones are at the end of the day, we will know about the new developments in electrical, electronic engineering, in communications.
It's the 20th edition and 40th anniversary of the Institute, and it was a time to also honor and recognize members for their outstanding contributions to the profession.
As Nigeria deals with emerging technologies ecosystem, conversations at this conference insist their risks and challenges must be mitigated